Good evening, boys and girls. Still on day 3. It is nighttime now, and I'm drinking, yeah, and I'm smoking. These are my vices right now, and I know they're not healthy, but started off as a little celebration. It's like my rebirth. um, but I know that alcohol can kind of numb feelings, but also um, bring about, I don't know, like sorrow and all of these other things. So anyway, for today, I got to contact some of my old friends. You know what? I'm gonna say that for the end of the video, okay? I'm gonna get to the sad part first. um so anyway, as you can see, I haven't been taking care of myself. Been in a state of depression and stress, not sleeping well. Um, in my first video, I talked about the interrogation that he did, and he didn't let me sleep. I didn't get to sleep good for that whole month and a week. He would wake me up at 1:30 in the morning and constantly question me. We'd argue to 3, and I would get like 2 hours of sleep before I went to work. So my sleep pattern is all screwed up. But I am going through triggers right now, struggling with this no contact thing. We were having a family dinner and everything was great. Got to see my family members, and I shared with them the link from my blog. But there was some romantic music playing in the background, and you wouldn't believe how triggering, I'm sure you know how triggering music can be. There's, okay, for any girl, any guy who is missing, even though they're toxic, missing their ex, yeah, there's a lot of triggers that you're gonna find. Even when we landed at the airport and we were going through the tram, it was the path that, me and my ex had taken prior to the whole interrogation and the crazy falling out. So it's really weird being back in that environment again. I was like, oh my god, we took this same exact path, and I had a little body breakdown. Like, my legs were stuck, my muscles got so tight from the stress. And my mom is so sweet. She saw I was having a little panic attack, and she held my hand and she asked me what was going on, so I explained it to her. Excuse me. Sorry, family. I know you want me to quit. I'm gonna get there. So that was a huge one. The toll it took on my body, and again, back to that music. It was really subtle, but I just couldn't stop hearing it. I couldn't hear my family talking anymore. So I had to leave and hit to my vices here. And I know I shouldn't be alone. I think nighttime and the silence, it just does something else to the body. So yeah, it started bringing back all these memories of intimacy. And intimacy is it's kind of like a drug, but it's something that in human nature we all crave. We need to have touch and embrace, whether it's sexual or not. But I'm definitely missing the intimacy. And of course, I'm reminiscing on the good times. That was the guy that I held every night. Anytime I was sad or stressed, like, you know, we would cuddle, and I'm not gonna have that anymore. Yeah, like being single and not having that. I'm surrounded by my family members who have their significant others, and I'm realizing now, like, shit, dude, I'm on my own. Oh, so that's definitely something I have to address in therapy. And there's all kinds of therapy I'm considering, just emotional support. My cousin had a really good retreat for me to take, and I think I'm definitely going to take that. I will update you as soon as I get that all set up. Psychotherapy, relationship counseling, things like that, to kind of help me to figure out how to manage all of these different tiers, all of these different factors that are coming into play. So, you know, I'm missing it, so I'm missing him. I just turned to YouTube again, and I saw a really good video on how to survive no contact. I think this kind of goes into my other issue, is me thinking about what he's going through right now. And I know it must be hard for him, because and bear with me, right? Because you're like, shut up. Don't miss this guy. But unlike everybody here, they didn't have that relationship. They didn't know that connection that I had. So I'm now being back to empathetic. My family, of course, wants to wring his neck. They see it from a whole different circumstance. They of course are understanding that he must be going through some stuff, but it's going back to defending him. Like, hold on, maybe he doesn't deserve all of that. That's how I'm feeling right now. Just remember, that's how I'm feeling right now at this moment. And of course, when you're defending that person, like you've probably had to do multiple times, you have to talk about the good qualities, the reasons why he deserves a little bit more understanding. So I am back to thinking of all the good things he did. I can't say that he was the only one who contributed to the toxicity in the relationship. I definitely played my part. There were times where, I was a little stonewalled and didn't give him what he wanted, and he was a very affectionate person. I think it was something that he missed during childhood, so it was kind of like he was being spoiled. Like, he's got this girl with him all the time who just wants to give it to him, and he I'm not supposed to really try to focus on the good, but here I am. He did do a lot of romantic things for me. When I was sick, he would take really good care of me, rub my body with Vicks, and massage my legs, and prepare my clothes for the next day. He was a bit of a romantic at times. And everybody wants to be cared for. Everybody wants to feel like they're special and needed. And a big portion of our relationship, he really did do that for me. So there is this guilt, this missing, this defending him, and this guilt that I'm feeling like, what did I do to this poor man? In my situation, I just left. I didn't give him one last kiss, one last hug. I warned him it was coming. I think he knew of the impending doom. That's probably why he was being so frantic, trying to grab my purse and make sure I come back to the car. After I was filing the TRO, he had no idea what was happening. He had zero idea that I was not coming back to that car. He's always done this thing where I get mad, I storm off, and then he calls me with lunch or roses or chocolates or something just to kind of please me and try to make up for being an asshole. So I am very sympathetic towards the things that he is going through. I know, family, you're like, shh, don't. But here I am. I can't imagine, and that's the one part in our relationship I can't understand him. I'm not a depressing person. I don't deal with any psychological issues. I've always been pretty sound, pretty in tune with myself. So if anybody can just kind of help me to understand, like, what kind of feelings does somebody like that go through when their support for their emotional capabilities or disabilities is just cut off? There's family supports him, but they can't sleep with him and hold him. You know, exactly what does he go through, right? So that's okay. So that's the thought in my head. Excuse me, this is unscripted. This is raw as you get, girlfriend. So I'm just like, I've been in contact with my family who's been having to deal with him back in Hawaii, and of course he's trying every avenue. He basically thinks he just needs to finally get in with the family, right? After 12 years of me begging him to, they've always opened their arms to him, always was ready to embrace him and learn more about him. But he thinks I'm coming back. Like, he thinks that this is all gonna be fixed. And what does that do to his psyche if he basically hasn't let go of the relationship? I am technically still his fiance, and I'm just going through this period, and he just has to get right with everyone. And no. First of all, guys, don't worry. That's not happening. But yeah, I'm just definitely feeling for him. And I know he must be going through a lot, but one thing I learned in that video, what's important with no contact, is having that person. I'm technically like, I'm his vice, I'm his drug. Love is an addiction, when no matter if it's toxic or not. Human touch is something that we all need. But one thing that they said is that even if I'm struggling with it, doing the no contact thing, right? You're gonna go through that process. You're gonna feel pain, major anxiety. And for me to break that and go ahead and contact him in some way, it's selfish on my part because I'm also not allowing him to heal. When people need to quit a drug, it's your body goes through withdrawals and stuff like that. You can't just say like, give me one more hit, I'll be fine. No, the process starts all over again. They're back to square one, and they gotta get, back, go back to the third day where we're at now. So I have to, if you guys are in that same boat, I have to remind you of that. Just as much as you're going through that healing process, so does the other person. So hopefully it helped me, and it'll help you to remember that. Of course, I did. I'll admit I had a little breakdown on the no contact, but not necessarily. I was trying to contact someone on Facebook. I don't necessarily have an account. I just opened one and I'm going to close it. I'm not ready for social media yet. But of course it's there, and I typed in his name. And I started to scroll through his pictures. But lo and behold, I found out that I'm nowhere in his social media. How's that? I'll explain to you really quick his situation, and you're gonna laugh at me. You're gonna be like, you're so stupid. I understand, that's fine. But he is technically still married to another woman in the Philippines. So I'm the mistress, I guess. But we knew that. She was aware of me from the second year we were together, and I always just allowed that because I know they have a son, and I didn't want to cause any conflict. I just want to like slap myself in the face. But he never ended up divorcing her, and he always freaking told me that, oh, the reason I can't put you on my social media is because it's going to be triggering for her. I can't do that. Like, what if she ends up taking everything and taking my son? So I always said, okay, that's fine. So it was kind of crazy, like, to actually go through his social media and be like, I never even existed. I didn't exist in his social media realm. And when I clicked on his pictures, there were comments being left by other women saying, hey baby, sexy baby, I miss you. Yeah. How is that for a man who feels so devastated to lose me? And guess what? He was feeding his ego this whole time. He was leading women on, I guess. I don't know if it was just through social media, how he was talking to these people. But obviously he knew these women. So thank you for making me not miss you. I definitely probably shouldn't have done that. I would advise against it. Don't do what I did. But if you were with a narcissistic, egotistical man, you can guarantee that while he was accusing you of your infidelity, it was because he was doing it himself. He's capable of doing it, so you're probably capable of doing it. But I wasn't. I was not. He had me in such a hold that I was like, I didn't look at other men. I talked about him constantly. And here this jackass is just having women eat him up to boost his own self-worth. And I was the biggest booster, but I wasn't the only one. So maybe don't even bother doing it. If you were with the same kind of man, I can guarantee you that that's what was happening. And I'm glad I kind of ended that part, because hey, I don't miss him anymore. You're you're gonna go through this back and forth, like, oh, all of these good things, all of these good qualities, all of these wonderful things he did for me, but then you go back and say, hold on, no. Maybe make a list. I'm thinking about making a list of all the things, and it's not, you're not gonna sit there and finish an entire list in one sitting, because memories are gonna come back here and there. But definitely weigh out the pros and cons. It's important to kind of definitely, like, not important, but it's gonna happen. You're gonna reminisce on the good, but then you're also gonna try your best to focus on the bad. I was so glad I watched that video. I think it was on Love Advice on YouTube. How to successfully go through no contact. So yeah, I think if I'm ever feeling that, I either can do that, or like I did today, which I mentioned earlier in the video, I got to call all of my old friends, and guess what? If you guys are watching this, y'all were waiting for me, and I love you to death. That's even more of that solidifying that what I did was right, because they all miss me and they were all waiting for it to happen. But they have to wait. They have to wait, and there's nothing that they can do. Family members, if you watch that, it's important to stay close, but you can't force them. You can't force us out of it. It doesn't work that way. Just like today, they're talking bad, and I'm still defending him, because I haven't reached that level yet in the whole process. But I got to talk to friends I hadn't seen in 12 years, cutting off all those ties, and they're still there. I called one of my boy cousins first. If you're watching this, you know Rada, who I'm talking about. And he was so surprised to hear from me, but I was just so worried. It's a hard pill to swallow, because a lot of your old contacts, if you get back in with them, they have a lot of feelings too, like, what the fuck, but also like, hey, one of my my good friends I grew up with, she was like, is this Christmas? Did Christmas come early? Like, are you really calling me? And my good friend from college, she held tight to my friendships too for me. Like, she held it down for me, because she wanted to make sure to stay close. I remember she said her and my sister had a good talk, like, how are we gonna get her out of there? Like, what are we gonna do? Should we just throw her in the van and just take off? She called my sister and was like, this is the best day I've had in a long time. This is the happiest I've ever been. So if you guys are watching this, man, you guys are so freaking awesome. If you guys have that opportunity to reconnect with the people you lost in your toxic relationship, don't be scared. Swallow that pill. Let them express their frustrations, because at the end they're gonna be like, after I said all that, guess what? I just missed you. Like, let's reconnect. So I'm stoked. I get to open up all of those doors again. So for anybody watching this, just kind of, keep it on the DL. I don't know if dude is ever gonna end up finding this page. I hope he does, because I don't have to have no back and forth. He can just listen to me talk, and he's not gonna be able to respond. But just kind of keep locations and stuff on the DL. But I am so happy to know that I have so much strong women in my life, and they're like support 100%. They're like, I understand. I've been in that situation. I know what you're going through. It is so nice, because I'm with my family and they do their best to understand, but not all of them have been in that situation. So sometimes you kind of feel alone. It's good to be able to have people who've been in that same experience, I think. So they had some really good insight on how to refocus and how to stay strong. So all that time lost, I get to regain it. And I'm young enough to still explore this world. And they had so much resources for me, family members as well. So this is awesome. All part of the process, right? I'm here unscripted, raw as hell, talking to you as things are coming in my mind, and I thank you for your time. I'm sure I missed a whole bunch of stuff, so I always do a lot of overlapping, but well, we're gonna cover it all. And once again, if you could just subscribe to this channel and just so we can kind of get the word out there. I haven't really seen much channels kind of like in the fashion that I'm doing it at, where I'm actually going through the process day by day. So hopefully this helps somebody, and hopefully I can get some good advice as well on how to help me. But I will see you all sometime tomorrow. My parents have a whole agenda planned, so keeping me busy, keeping yourself busy is a very good thing. Don't be sitting here in the dark like I am. Unless maybe you get on the channel or have somebody to talk to. But I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully, in the morning. Malama pono, take care of yourself, and I will see y'all later. Peace.